Mr. Johnson, you claim you are here today with a relationship on the line. Now, you are convinced your fiance's 8-month-old daughter, Camilla, was fathered by her ex-boyfriend and not you. If the DNA results prove your deepest fears are true, you say you plan to leave her and never look back. Ms. Quintero, you agree there is indeed a possibility that another man fathered your child, but say you're hoping it's not true. You claim your fiance has been there for your daughter since day one, and you believe in your heart she is his biological child. Additionally, Mr. Johnson, you're asking the court to award you $275 in back child care expenses. If the results prove Camilla is not your daughter, you'd like Ms. Quintero to pay you back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Johnson, explain to the court exactly why are you doubting the paternity of your daughter?
Well, Your Honor, it starts maybe 3 years ago. I met Maria at my job. My ex-girlfriend brought her over there. First time I seen her, I fell in love, I'm not gonna lie. She sort of had like a glow around her. So she had a boyfriend at the time, and I had a girlfriend at the time, so I never really talked to her. A few months went by, and me and my girlfriend broke up. Just so happened her and her boyfriend broke up. She invited me to some party. I never showed up because I thought my ex-girlfriend was gonna be there. So we usually talked for months and months just through social networks, never really on the phone or anything. And she happened to never get back with her boyfriend, so we started to talk in a relationship-wise for a few weeks. We ended up having sex. We sort of fell off after the 2 weeks. She ended up going back with her ex, you know, just leaving me pretty much. I say about a year ago, we ended up talking again. Midway through March, we considered dating, let's put it like that. We weren't really dating, but we were talking about it.
All right.
And she calls me up one day, and she's like, hey, you know, I'm gonna go look for some apartments. You should come with. I was a little busy at the time, so I told her no. You know, I got stuff to do, I can't do it. I called her back later, and she never picked up. She calls me up on the phone and like, hey, I'm pregnant. I was at my brother's house. We were having a little get together. We're drinking, you know, just having fun. I tell her right away, hey, I gotta call you back. You know, I can't talk like this right now, I'm a little drunk. I hung up the phone, talked to my brother. It just caught me so off guard, it was really
So
late.
you say it caught you off guard when she said she was pregnant. Did it catch you off guard because you didn't expect her to say it? It wasn't a possibility, or you didn't think you were the father?
I wasn't expecting her to say it. We just started talking for 2 weeks, and just like that, it was just like, boom, I'm pregnant.
All right, so Ms. Quintero, you agree with the account of your relationship?
Not completely.
You don't?
No.
Okay, what's your take?
Okay, so yeah, the whole apartment thing. I didn't call him that day. We had planned to go look for apartments the day before. It was my first apartment. I was really excited about it. So he knew that I was excited about it. So I called him the next morning and he didn't answer. So I called him twice, he didn't answer. He didn't even hit me back up. So what I did is hit up my ex to go look for apartments. He was more than happy to go look for apartments. And then that's when we started talking again. It's not that I was just like, oh, he can't come with me, let me go try him, no.
That's what it seems like though, Your Honor.
I mean.
All right, so the bottom line is you had an ex you were with.
Yeah.
Then you were briefly together for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You left, went back to your ex.
I wouldn't say went back to him, we hung out for a couple weeks.
So you hung out for a while
A little
longer.
bit, yeah.
Did you hang out in the bedroom?
We did have sex, yeah.
All right, so you had sex with the ex.
Yeah.
So during the window of conception, did you have sex with Mr. Johnson and your ex?
Yeah.
Okay, so in a nutshell, that's why we're here. So, Mr. Johnson, when was your daughter born?
My daughter was born November 6, 2013.
All right, what are you holding?
I just had a calendar.
Jerome, will you please hand me this calendar?
It just states when Cammie was born, and the 2 months at the top is midway when me and Maria started talking in March, and February was the month when she was with her ex.
So, your daughter Camilla was born on the 6th of November.
Yes.
And outlined in green is the time she, Ms. Quintero, was intimate with her ex.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you do the math.
Yeah, it leads right to March.
And count back, it leads right to March.
Yes.
During the time you say she was with
right around the time she was with her ex, and then right when we and her started dating.
And then when you got back together, and then
Yes.
2 weeks later,
Yes.
she says to you, I'm pregnant.
Exactly.
So, Ms. Quintero, do you believe what this calendar represents?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
And so,
I mean, sorry to interrupt you. Her due date was December 13th. She was born a month and a half early.
okay.
Yeah.
So in your estimation, you feel like if she was born around the projected due date, then that would have put the calculation back in the months when you two were back together.
Pretty much, because our official date was March 9th. We set that date as because since that day, we hung out every day. March 30th, Saturday, is when I found out I was pregnant, and I called him. I mean, I didn't call my ex, I called him, and I told him, and he was just like, let me call you back. And then he called me back like about a minute later, and
Your Honor, I used a condom when we had sex, and that was one of the things that were puzzling me around the whole pregnancy thing, because it was just so
he didn't
close.
use the condom every time we had sex, because we would drink, forget to use a condom, and I mean, it goes from there.
So during this whole pregnancy, during this whole time, is Mr. Johnson with you?
Yes.
All right, so you participated.
Yes.
And you were there for the birth.
Yes.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. In your mind, during this time, you said to yourself, I'm going to take on this responsibility. I believe this baby is mine, or I'm just going to hold off and request a DNA test when the baby's born.
Well, when she admitted to me that she and her ex had something going on, part of me was very, very upset, like very, very upset. But the fact that she was able to admit it to me, I sort of pushed it aside. And the fact that it was so close that me and her had just had sex recently was like, I just needed to know afterwards. I didn't want to sit here and waste my time judging Miss Quintero instead of sitting there, going to my doctor's appointments, being there for the child, because what if later on, I just didn't know if later on, if I had, if I missed all of that. If
Right.
in 2 years from now,
I told him since day one, you can take a DNA test. Since day one, I've told him. Since I got pregnant, I was like, you want to take one? Go ahead. You wait till now. Why? I don't know. I feel like it's because he just wants to know if it's his or hers so he can just start going doing his own thing.
Oh, you feel like he's trying to use it to get off the hook from the whole relationship?
Pretty much.
Oh, so at some point you all decided to get engaged, right?
Yes. Well, I decided to engage her.
Yeah.
That makes any sense?
And so if you ask her to marry you, it seems like you decided to put this behind you, that you were going to move forward and you were going to accept Camilla as your daughter.
I mean, I
Yes.
would think so.
Up until recently,
Yeah.
I'm at work and I have people coming up to me like, hey, your girlfriend was with this guy at this time.
What do people at work know about your business?
Oh, well, I publicly display my daughter, and everybody in our community pretty much knows Maria was with that other guy a long time. So they sort of look at it as, and he's.
But I was with him for 3 years and never got pregnant.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it
So
can't
it's just
happen.
like the time I get with him for about 2 to 3 weeks, I get pregnant, but yet me and you just got together and I get pregnant. So it's like, really, honestly, I have doubts, yes, I do. But I feel like it's more towards him, to be honest with you. He even, I have here papers that show him saying he can't deny it, that it's his. And he says she doesn't look.
Jerome, let me see that evidence, please.
When she was younger, when she was like newborn, she looked a lot like him. Because even his friends told him she looked like him.
And
probably
so
now.
what is this you submitted, Ms. Quintero?
It's that he says that, I can't deny it. She looks just like me.
This is a post.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at the mouth, laugh out loud. That's you all day, bro.
Yes, that's my sister.
And then you write back, wow, well, I can't deny it, laugh out loud.
That's when she was a lot
But yes,
younger.
that was
but
a
now,
month after she was born.
Now she's starting to look like, if you see the other evidence, she looks a lot like me.
These are photos that you submitted to the court.
Yeah.
And on the left side is Camilla. She's absolutely adorable.
Thank you.
And on the right side is a picture of you when you were about her age.
Yes, Your Honor. And she looks just like me. Her nose, now
Very
maybe,
much like
yeah.
her mom,
So
yes.
it's like, he said, oh, she has, silky hair like mine. Good for her, you know what I mean? It's like,
Your Honor, I
she's
just don't
looking a
see
lot like
any
me.
comparison with me at all.
Not
at all,
now,
like,
but she
anything.
did.
I mean,
You don't see any
comparison.
resemblance.
No, at all.
I just don't know how she would
Nothing
look
from
like
your
him.
family?
No.
Your sister? Nothing?
No.
Okay.
It's just
And
why
then
was
that
he
makes
there
you
for us?
doubt.
Yes, that's exactly. It really
Now
what
you-
makes me doubt, and that and the time frame.
Now, you say you signed the birth certificate, though.
Yes.
So do you regret signing the birth certificate before you knew whether or not she was your biological child?
No, I don't. One, because of the fact, like I stated, I would hate to have missed out on that, being there all that time. And two, me and Miss Quintero actually spoke about it before the lady came in with the birth certificate. So, and I told her that I was willing to sign it. So then, no, I don't really regret that at all.
All right.
I mean, I just don't understand why he was there for me and Camilla all these times. Like, he was there through my pregnancy. Like, I had a C-section, so I had to be at the hospital. They said I'd be there for a month. I was only there for a week. He was there every single night. He didn't leave that hospital not one time. My mom would bring us clothes. So the fact that he was there through everything, moved out to Orlando with me and my parents so we can help them out and all that. But yet you're doubting it. Why would you doubt it and do all this for us? I mean, yeah, I haven't had a job for over a year. He's been working since before, even a little bit before I was pregnant. But it's just, why take care of us if you have doubts? Why don't you take a DNA test the day she was born?
I'm sure it appeared to you, with all of that effort and level of commitment, that he had accepted Camilla and you all were going to be a family.
Yeah.
And yet, standing in this courtroom today, Mr. Johnson, you made it clear that if Camilla is not your biological child, then you plan on calling the wedding off.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
He just
ma'am.
denies her. Usually he denies her when we're arguing. That's what I feel like. When we're arguing about him talking to other girls, he denies her. It's just like, you did wrong, so are you trying to just push it on me like, oh, she might not be mine because you just got caught talking to another girl.
Your Honor.
Okay, so hold on. What you're saying is, when you have relationship issues and he
Yeah.
gets caught talking to girls or anything like that, he'll throw this up in your face.
Yeah.
Oh, Your Honor, it's not like that all the time. I've brought it up.
What is
plenty
it
of
like?
times. I brought it up plenty of times. There'll just be times I'm like holding her and I'm just like, man, you just don't look like me.
You're
Like, there's
too
no
pretty to be
resemblance.
mine. Like, you're too pretty to be mine. I mean, she's beautiful, yeah.
And as far as the other girls go, I was sort of just using a plan B. I mean, it may sound a little rude and come off a little wrong.
I mean,
but it was like she kept jumping back and forth from me to her ex.
I
So it
took
was
my
like,
engagement ring
what am I
off
supposed to
because
do?
we've been having a lot of issues lately of him talking to other girls. It's just like, it was not a couple of days ago that I got caught talking to another girl, telling her that he doesn't know about me and him anymore. Why would he tell another girl that? Like, really? And then he'll tell me, like, what do I get out of being with you? You don't tell that to someone you're supposedly in love with.
Exactly. So, Mr. Johnson, as I'm listening to this testimony, sounded like you were a pretty stand-up guy. And yet, it does seem a little bit like you're holding this doubt. It's like a pawn in the game. What do you want out of this relationship?
I just want to know if Camilla's mine. That's what I really want to know. Out of the
Because in your
relationship-
mind, this entire relationship, marriage, situation, and life depends on whether this child is yours.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, I don't expect him to be with me if
Those are
it's not his.
some pretty heavy stakes. You also add, and Ms. Quintero has said it explicitly, that you're the one taking care of her and the baby.
Yes.
She's not working and you are.
Yes.
And you provide the support. So this is a perfect time to deal with your arbitration. You say you've paid $275 in baby expenses.
Yes.
Do you have any proof of that?
I couldn't get the receipts for him or the bank statements because I was using like a prepaid debit card, so I couldn't get those for
I mean, I
him,
can vouch for
but-
him. He has paid for everything. I'm not saying he hasn't.
All right, so if I say the plaintiff contends he's paid $275 in baby expenses, $100 in diapers, $75 in clothes, and food at approximately $100, do you believe that is true?
I'm pretty sure it's more than that.
All right.
Yeah.
So the $275 is agreed upon.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're asking, if this child is not yours, you want your money back.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I think it's time for the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Johnson v. Quintero, when it comes to 8-month-old Camilla Johnson. Mr. Johnson. Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. In the case of Johnson v. Quintero, when it comes to 8-month-old Camilla Johnson. Mr. Johnson. You are her father.
Oh, man.
Can I get a hug?
I'm sorry.
How do you feel, Miss Quintero?
It's relief. It's like now we can go back to planning for our wedding, and I feel like now the whole him talking to the girls should stop, and we're gonna move on from this.
And now, since you've arrived at the point where you know that this child is yours, there's no more question, right?
Yes.
Yes.
What we can do now is take the past, let it be the past. And the only plan B should be plan baby. Okay? Does that sound like a good plan?
Sounds like an amazing plan.
Mr. Maxon, you testify that you had to open your case today because the defendant is doing what she does best, pinning babies on innocent men.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say she is now seeking financial help from your mother, and in order to stop her from taking advantage of your family, you need to prove that you did not father her 3-year-old daughter, Alana Gearing. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gearing, you say you are certain that Mr. Maxon is your daughter's biological father. You are tired of being a single mother and say once the results are revealed today, you expect Mr. Maxon to man up and take care of his responsibilities. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Maxon, why do you think Ms. Gearing is trying to pin her baby on you?
For one, Your Honor, I didn't know anything about the baby until after she had the child.
And so how did you find out?
She contacted my mom and told my mom about it, and my mom told me, and once I found out, I had my mom to contact her so I can get a paternity test.
Oh, so immediately upon hearing, you said, hold on, I need a paternity test.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because from the outset, you didn't think the child was yours.
Exactly, Your Honor.
Ms. Gearing, you didn't tell Mr. Maxon anything about the baby until after the baby was born?
No, ma'am. When I found out I was pregnant, he was in Las Vegas with another woman. I thought he was going for music. I contacted Trinidad and I told him I was pregnant. He said he wanted to come back. I sent him some money, $250 to be exact, and thought he was coming back, and he never came back, and he never called me.
Did you bring proof of that? Did you bring proof of that?
Afterwards, I did contact his mom after I had the baby, and when I heard from her, she was like, yeah, that's my grandbaby. And his mom even came here because she was driving trucks. And I brought my baby to see her.
One at a time.
I brought my baby to see her when she came here because she was driving trucks. And she was like, oh, yes, I know this is my grandbaby.
No.
So, Ms. Williams?
Jasmine contacted me and she said, I'm pregnant by your son. This was before she even had the baby. So I didn't hear anything else from Jasmine until after she had the baby. And I contacted her and I said, Jasmine, can you bring the baby over so that I could see the baby? And I saw the baby, but I didn't see no resemblance of my son in that baby.
Ms. Gearing testified that you said that's my grandbaby.
No, I never told her that.
I know 200% that that's his child.
If you knew 200% that was my child when I asked you for a paternity test, at first when I found out and you refused, you would have gave it to me.
Because my baby was too small.
So hold on,
Yes, I did deny the first
Mr. Maxon, I need to hear that. Can you please tell the court what happened when you asked for a paternity test?
When I asked her for a paternity test, she told me, no, this is your child.
She said no, because I was on the phone with her.
Was she pregnant? Was the baby born? When was the baby
born? She was like 4 weeks.
Why, Ms. Gearing? Why not just say, you know what, let's take this DNA test so you can just be quiet?
Because for one, I was already going through a lot. I had my baby a month early, and then with him not coming in the picture like during my pregnancy when he claimed he was gonna be there, it was just too much already. So,
I don't care
that he
how
did
much. I
contact
don't
me.
care how much you're
He
going
did
through.
contact
If
me.
you want to know if that's his
But
baby,
his
you
mom
would
was
say
being
yes.
two-faced it because
Exactly.
What
I
I need
didn't
to
get-
understand now is how we got here. I don't understand
first
it.
of all, you
So wait, were you all boyfriend and girlfriend when this happened?
No.
No, we actually, when I went back to Mississippi with my grandmother, and I did contact him first on Facebook, and it just kicked off from there. And then he moved back here to Atlanta, so I came back, and he was at my
So
house.
you knew
day
each
and
other
night.
before.
Yes, we been knew each other when we was younger, stayed on the same street. Back then,
We lived down the street from each other, and I've never known nothing about this lady.
And
But
even,
wait.
Even back then, me and her had no dinner. She knew of me, and I knew of her. We never was talked or.
But
kicked
at
it.
some point, you obviously were intimate, or we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, when she
Yes.
contacted me on Facebook.
Okay, so you.
yes, I did contact him first on Facebook, and he came out to my grandmother's house. One thing led to another. He was at my house day and night before he went to
Wait,
work.
hold on. One thing led to another at your
Yes.
grandmother's house?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Who had sex at their grandmother's house? With no protection.
No protection.
So apparently she was trying to stick a baby on him.
But hold on. No. The issue I'm having is that, okay, were you dating anybody
No.
else at that time?
No, I
Because, I
wasn't
mean, this
dating
was the
anyone.
first
Yes, she
night.
was.
I
Yes,
wasn't
she
dating
was.
anyone.
Yes,
And
she
when we
was,
moved back
Sean.
here, I still wasn't dating anyone.
Your Honor, she was still involved because she told me this out of her own mouth. She was still involved with another guy. Like I said, our relationship was not, we was not in a relationship. We was not couple.
How did you know she was still with her ex?
She told me.
Out of her mouth?
Yeah.
What
and
did she
sometimes
say?
when I'd be at her house, she'll video call him on Facebook and tell me to be quiet while she talked to him. And I'm sitting right next to her.
So that makes him the dummy. Why would he still stay if I'm still dealing with somebody else?
It's
I
really
wasn't dealing
not
with anybody.
about him being a dummy. It's really about his doubt.
We wasn't a couple. We was just, we'll kick it every now
Having
and then.
sex unprotected.
Basically.
It was, and that's a lie too, Your Honor. We was using protection. And this is another reason why I say that this child is not mine. She probably was taking the condoms when I leave and injecting herself.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So it is your testimony that you always used protection
Yes, Your Honor.
with Ms. Gearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Never once
Never once.
did the condom break.
Never.
Did you not use one?
Never.
And Ms. Gearing, you're saying that is a complete
We
lie.
never used protection. Honestly, from the first day, we never used protection.
So I just want to ask Ms. Gearing one question. Do your baby have asthma?
No.
Trinard has had asthma and his other kids do too. So all of a sudden, he got this one kid that don't have no resemblance and no asthma.
No resemblance.
I don't see it.
But you always call
She
me
look
and
like
tell
you.
me.
When do I call you, Jasmine?
So you haven't reached out
You
to my
always
baby?
reached out to
and
me.
ma'am, I do have evidence from when I did reach out to
I would like
Trinard.
to see that.
Here you go.
You.
In January of 2016, I asked him, can you at least see how your child is doing? He texted me 2 months later, asked for a favor to borrow some money, and I told him no. So then he went to say, don't contact me anymore. So who need who? I never asked him for money. Only thing I want him to do, you can buy your daughter some clothes and some shoes
Well,
and
you
give
asked
it to
me
her.
for money
You don't
to buy
have
your baby Pampers.
Okay, you only sent me
You asked me
$20.
for-
It wasn't your responsibility.
And that was all I
you
was
should have
supposed
told
to
your
send you.
grown-ass
All right,
man
ladies.
that was
all I-
All right,
You
ladies,
told your grown-ass to do it.
ladies, let's get some order. Ms. Gearing, you've submitted evidence to this court.
Yes, ma'am. That's the
This
first thing I
evidence
sent to them.
is a text message on January 30th, 2016.
Yes, ma'am.
So you sent a picture of Alana.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can ask how she's doing.
Yeah.
And the response was nothing.
Nothing. As you can see, it's blank.
That's January the 30th.
So 2 months later,
Mr. Maxon answers 2 months later on March 14th and says, I need a favor. You write, really? You don't call and even check on your daughter? And Mr. Maxon writes, can I get a favor or not? It's a simple yes or no. What was the favor?
he needed some money. And after I told him no,
Yeah,
you
I
don't
don't
have
even-
no reason to contact me anymore.
Your Honor, that's not
exactly
even
what he
me.
said.
That's not me texting her. I don't know where she get that from, but that's not even me.
So that's lying?
And that's being honest. That's being
not
honest.
you?
If you texting
So
me
your name
on
not at the
Facebook,
top?
it'll have my name, Trinard Maxon.
Wow.
Right or wrong? Right or
Yeah.
wrong?
Trinard, that is you.
Hold on. When she texts you about Alana, you responded?
No, she never did text me about it. She contacts my mother. That's why I'm. That's why.
Well, she did contact me about some Pampers and some shoes.
Yes, I really did.
I
She only
sent
said
her
$20
$20
to get diapers.
Yes, because
Yes, she
if it was
did.
anybody in this room and you needed Pampers for your baby, yes, I would give. That still doesn't say that's my grandbaby.
Ms. Williams, you're
there was
telling
no
me what you did for the baby or what you would do for the baby.
But
Mr.
what did he
Maxon,
do?
what have you done for Alana?
Nothing.
Nothing. I asked her for a blood test, a DNA test. She refused.
Okay,
So,
well, we're about to see right now. We're going to see what you're going to do after you
So
find
hold
out
on.
that she
So
yours.
hold on. Mr. Maxon, I want to understand. Are you saying Alana's 3 years old?
Yes.
Yes.
You have done nothing for this baby. Not
Nothing.
a shoe, not a
no,
dress,
Your Honor,
not
I
a.
don't
seen
know
her
if
once.
I don't know if she's mine
Only
or
seen
not.
her once.
Like I say, when I first found out about it, I asked her for a DNA test. She refused. What else? I mean, what
So
else?
have you spent any time with her?
No.
He seen my baby one time.
What?
And she was like 5 or 6 months. I was at my
Yeah,
aunt's
through a
house.
picture?
His mom came and picked my baby up. Her and her daughter came and picked my baby up.
I did not pick your baby up, Jasmine.
What
I
in
was about
the
to get your baby.
Oh, Lord.
I was about to take the baby with me. The baby started
she
crying.
took my baby.
I left the baby right there with her.
No, she came to pick my baby up and took my baby to wherever Trinard was, wherever they had their little gathering at. And she the one that told me my baby was crying, and Trinard was like, hey,
Your
hey,
Honor,
what you
that's
crying for?
That's a lie.
And that was,
I
my
never
baby was like
in
5 or 6
person
months.
seen the baby.
Hold
I
up.
seen the baby through a picture.
Okay.
You saw the baby through a picture
Through
only.
a picture that she sent to my mom.
So you've never ever met Alana.
Ever.
Lies.
Ever.
Lies.
Ever.
Lies.
Ever.
He lied through his teeth.
Ever.
Mr. Maxon and Miss Gearing, this court's concern is there's a 3-year-old little girl that really has no relationship with a father, doesn't really know who her father is. It's sad for her. I'm sad for Alana.
He don't care.
Now, Your Honor, first of all, when I asked her for a DNA test, it was to me, trying to make sure this is my child. Now, when this DNA test come back, if it come back, it's my child, I have no problem with taking care of my business because I'm a man for anything. And I'm a great father, and I provide for mine. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be made out of a fool to claim something that's not mine.
She is not something. She is a child. Get it right.
Miss Gearing, so you've been doing this by yourself.
Yes, ma'am. No problem with it.
And I can see that that makes you emotional and angry that you've been doing this alone. And I know this is difficult for you. What are you feeling in this moment?
Well, honestly, I feel sad for my baby because she do ask, where's my dad? So when my other kids do see their dad, she like, Mommy, where's my daddy?
So when she asks you, what do you tell her?
The only thing I say is like, he'll come around. I
Oh,
don't
he
tell
will
her-
come around.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I tell her. I don't tell her that, he is denying her or he don't want to be in her life because she still wouldn't understand.
Even when they don't quite understand it, what we've learned through helping hundreds and hundreds of families, that it'll be another child that just will say, that's not your daddy, that's my daddy.
Yeah,
And they may mean it maliciously or they may mean it just as plainly, just that
Right.
these are facts. But
she don't
regardless,
deserve it
the
because
child
she
knows.
to be here. Me and him made her, so she don't deserve it at all.
Could have just gave me the blood test off the top.
So, Mr. Maxon, Mr. Maxon,
After I had my baby, after when he did contact me, yes, he did contact me, and I told him, that I didn't want to do it. I mean, I was going through a lot.
But see, this is a great example of what's happening in this courtroom now. When people get all up in their feelings, it becomes about you all instead of about the innocent child.
Right.
So the moment when they asked you for the DNA test, you were still mad because he didn't return your text when you tried to contact him in the first place, that you said no, because you weren't thinking clearly that,
Right.
you know what, if I know this man made this baby, if I go ahead and get this DNA test done right now and put my thoughts and my feelings out of this, then my baby won't have to be 3 years old Still not knowing who her father is, or still understanding that, oh, my daddy's not coming and I gotta tell her he'll come around. We could have done this before she would even know this.
Exactly.
Because she's the one losing out. So you say, Mr. Maxon, you're gonna step up.
No problem.
You have no problem with it.
No problem, Your Honor.
And what are you feeling now, Miss Williams? You just feel like it's just been a long...
It's just, I mean, it's stressful, him not knowing, she calling and saying this and saying that, you know. I mean, if she would have, like he said, if she would have just given him that DNA, this could have been all behind us.
After you give birth, you so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I do have compassion for how as a mother, she could have just been like, I can't do one more thing right now. But I do understand, and I can see how you all have gotten here. And most importantly, Mr. Maxon, from your perspective, I do get that. I hear men all the time say, when you ask for that DNA test and that person says no, I don't care what good reason they may have. That no will always trigger a doubt. But we're gonna end it today.
Yes, ma'am.
We have the result. Jerome? Ms. Gearing, before I open this envelope, I have to ask you, am I going to get a surprise? Is there something you need to just own up to right now?
No, ma'am. I wasn't talking to anyone.
You're sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Maxon versus Gearing, when it comes to 3-year-old Alana Gearing, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Maxon, you are the father.
I knew it.
That's your little girl, Mr. Maxon.
I'm just glad to know the truth. I hate it had to take this long for, to find out, but